Hello and welcome to Time Manufacturing. The safe operation of any aerial device is subject to certain hazards that can be protected against only by the exercise of intelligence, care, and common sense. It is essential to have personnel trained in the intended use, safe operation, maintenance, and service of aerial equipment. This video provides practical and essential information for the efficient operation of the Versalift TEL-29 N series aerial, and is to be used in conjunction with the appropriate operator and service manuals. This video is not intended to replace your company rules and regulations, or those of the federal government, but should be used in conjunction with them. All Versalift models are designed and built to conform to all applicable OSHA and ANSI rules and regulations. The instructions contained within this video may not cover all details or variations in equipment, nor do they provide for every possible contingency to be met in connection with the proper operation and maintenance of the unit. Should further information be desired to address specific problems, please refer to the operator and service manuals or contact Time Manufacturing for assistance. Getting started. The Versalift TEL-29 N series is a completely self-contained elevating and rotating aerial device mounted on a truck chassis. Because of its direct contact with human life, it is essential that the unit be properly maintained and operated so as to perform its many functions with safety and efficiently. The TEL-29 N series has been designed and engineered from the ground up to provide a truly flexible and functional workstation. But if misused or not operated safely, it is a tool that can cause injury or even death. In addition to the information in this video, good judgment, safe control, and caution in each situation should be used. Since the operator is in direct control of the aerial platform, good safety practices are the responsibility of the operator. The operator needs to make decisions on the use and operation of the aerial platform while remembering that his or her own safety, as well as the safety of others, is dependent on those decisions. Only qualified operators who are trained and experienced should operate the Versalift. Operator training should include instruction on the employer's safety rules, all related governmental regulations, and a thorough understanding of the operator's manual. The operator's manual is an integral part of the aerial device and must be properly stored on the vehicle when not in use. Preparation and familiarization. Familiarization with the TEL-29 N series is of critical importance when preparing to operate the unit. Prior to operating the equipment, study the function of all operation controls and indicators. Always operate the equipment in accordance with the instructions provided in the operator's manual, as well as those on the unit. In accordance with OSHA and ANSI requirements, the operator must perform a thorough unit inspection each day to detect any problems before they become serious. During this inspection, the operator should look for anything out of the ordinary that might indicate a problem. Equipment failures may be prevented by following the inspection and maintenance schedules which are covered in this video and listed in detail in the manuals provided. Two of the main risks associated with operating an aerial lift include electrocution caused by operating too close to power lines and injuries caused by falling as a result of equipment failure or the operator performing an unsafe or unstable maneuver. While it is impossible to address every conceivable operating hazard, the prevention of accidents is greatly dependent upon good judgment and common sense of the operator. It is the responsibility of the operator to use the Versalift TEL-29 N series only when it has been installed and maintained in accordance with the manufacturer's requirements. The preventative maintenance program outlined in the operator and service manuals must be followed. Safety decals are installed at numerous locations on the aerial lift to warn personnel of the potential hazards during the use and operation of the aerial lift. It is important that the operator and ground personnel read and understand the information on the decals. If any decals are defaced, illegible, or lost, they must be replaced immediately. Please refer to the decal placement illustration located in the operator's manual for a complete listing and locations of the decals. A safe attitude is very important to you, the operator. Practice anticipating accidents and operating hazards. Then determine a corrective course of action to respond to the situation. This habit will sharpen your safety awareness, quicken your reaction time, and prevent many accidents. The following reminders identify some of the unsafe situations that might occur during the use or operation of the TEL-29N series aerial device. Some of these safety problems are very basic, and as a result are often taken for granted. If equipped, always engage outriggers and maintain the correct tire pressure to increase vehicle stability. Remember to set the parking brake and chock the truck's wheels. Always wear a personnel restraint system attached to the lanyard anchor. Watch the booms to make sure they clear the truck and other obstructions. Maintain safe clearances from electrical power lines and apparatus, as the aerial lift does not provide protection from contact or proximity to electrically charged conductors. Whenever tools or equipment are included with the operator in the platform, the combined weight must not exceed the rated load capacity. Never allow anyone on the ground to touch the unit when the lift is being used to work near electrical lines. Always maintain a 10-foot clearance gap when working near power lines. Avoid dropping tools and use a hand line to raise or lower tools to or from the platform. Stand only on the platform floor. Don't climb out of a raised platform onto poles, etc. Stow the boom securely before moving the truck. For additional safety considerations, please refer to Section 2 of the Operator's Manual. Daily PreStart inspection. A daily PreStart inspection must be performed each day prior to leaving for the job site. The following items are covered in detail in the preventative maintenance section of your operator's manual. Make sure all audible safety devices, strobe lights, beacons, or other warning lights are working properly. Verify that all decals are legible and in good condition. Any warning, danger, caution, operational or instructional decals must be maintained in accordance with applicable OSHA standards. A decal placement chart that includes part numbers is located in the preventative maintenance section of the operator's manual. Make sure both front and rear emergency flashers are also working. Always check the tires for general condition as well as proper air pressure. Improper or low tire pressure can greatly affect unit stability. You should also be sure to check the inside tires at the rear. Should your truck be equipped with a torsion bar, inspect it for any signs of damage, loose or missing hardware. Check all critical fasteners. A drawing provided in the preventative maintenance section of the manual will help you identify the critical fasteners. It is also important to note that all critical fasteners are torque seal marked to provide a quick means of detecting any loosening. Pay particular attention to the bolts holding the pin retainer tabs, pin retainer washers, pedestal mounting bolts, and the upper and lower turret rotation bearing bolts. If any torque seal mark is broken and misaligned, the lift should not be used. Torque seal marks occasionally crack due to environmental conditions. This alone does not require repair. However, if a torque seal mark is broken and out of alignment, the bolt must be replaced with a new bolt of equal grade and torqued to proper specifications by qualified personnel. You should also refer to the service manual for recommended torque procedures and a copy of the torque chart. Check all critical welds for any signs of cracks, pinholes, or other signs of fatigue. A critical weld drawing is provided in the preventative maintenance section of the operator's manual for reference. Check the electrical system as it relates to the Versalift aerial for malfunction, signs of excessive deterioration, dirt, and moisture. Examine the hydraulic lines for leaks or loose connections and frayed jackets. If any nylon jacket is damaged, you should inspect the hose inside for damage. Carefully examine the hoses, especially any portion of hose that is subject to flexing, in particular the hoses at the platform. Check the hydraulic fluid level at the sight gauges located on the side of the pedestal. This should be checked while the unit is completely stowed, such as for road travel. You should again refer to the service manual for hydraulic fluid specifications and recommendations. It is very important to maintain the proper hydraulic fluid level. A full reservoir minimizes the operating temperature of the system, and in the event of a hydraulic leak, a full reservoir will give the operator more time to lower the platform. Add the appropriate fluid if necessary. Look for any loose objects that may have been left on the boom that could fall during operation. Check the controls to make sure they function properly. All of the controls except the selector should return to neutral when released. It's required that you operate the unit from the ground station through its full range of motion before allowing anyone to operate from the platform. Inspect the fiberglass platform for cracks in the mounting ribs, floor, and the flange around the top. If these conditions exist, the platform must be repaired or replaced before operation. Check for proper and smooth operation of the leveling system. Any suspect items found in the course of the inspection should be carefully examined or tested, and a determination made by a qualified person as to whether they constitute a safety hazard. Positioning the Versalift for operation. The following information will help the operator and ground crews set up the TEL-29 N in a safe, stable, and efficient manner. This includes orientation of the truck at the worksite, responsibilities before leaving the truck cab, and requirements after leaving the truck cab. Make sure to park the truck on firm, level ground whenever possible. Do not operate the Versalift on a slope greater than 5 degrees. Slope reduces the vehicle's stability and places additional stress on the lift's rotation system. If it is necessary to work on a slope, extra precautions are required. For better stability, position the truck near the worksite with the truck facing up or down the slope, and always work up the slope. Before the Versalift is used, the worksite should be surveyed for hazards such as untamped earth fills, ditches, drop-offs, manholes, or storm drains. Other obstructions such as debris, overhead obstructions, electrical conductors, and the presence of unauthorized persons should also be considered. Before leaving the truck cab, the following steps should be taken in preparing to operate the aerial lift. Shift the truck transmission to neutral on manual transmissions or park for automatic transmissions. Firmly set the parking brake and the brake lock, if equipped. Turn on the warning lights to alert pedestrians and motorists. Activate the master control with the switch located on the dashboard of the truck. A light on or next to the switch indicates when the Versalift power system is energized. After leaving the truck cab, be sure to chock the rear wheels on both sides of the truck. Always set up adequate cones or barricades to mark the boundaries of the worksite and alert pedestrians and motorists. Never work outside the boundaries. Aerial lift operations. Now we will cover the operating procedures and concerns for aerial lift operation. This information will be covered in order of probable use while operating from the ground, then at the platform and near energized conductors. Startup procedures. In extremely cold weather, it's a good idea to allow the engine to idle for a few minutes before operating the lift. This will warm the hydraulic fluid and improve performance. Cold fluid will cause the unit to operate slow and sluggish. The lower controls are located on the side of the turret and consist of a series of spring-loaded toggle switches. Let's take a moment to discuss these controls. Electrically controlled units use a series of toggle switches at both lower and upper controls. To operate lower controls, the lower control toggle switch must be held down while moving the toggle switch of the desired function. The engine start-stop control is operated by a two-position momentary toggle switch labeled Engine. To start the engine from the lower controls, simply actuate and hold the toggle in the start-stop position until the engine starts, then release the switch. To stop the engine, again actuate the engine toggle switch and release. The engine will quit running. To stop the engine from upper controls, push the red Start-Stop button. To start, simply pull up. Emergency power option is useful if the lift's main power source fails. The emergency power control is a toggle switch labeled Emergency Power and can be used to activate the emergency hydraulic power motor to operate the lift. To activate emergency power, simply place the toggle in the on position as indicated by the decal, and then operate a control valve in the desired direction. Do not operate this system for longer than 30 seconds continuously, as continuous operation beyond 30 seconds will drain the battery and may damage the emergency power electric motor. To deactivate the emergency power, release the toggle switch. Platform operation. Now let's go over the controls located at the platform. The standard upper control station consists of an emergency stop, engine start-stop control, and a series of toggle switches. Optional controls available may include 2-speed and emergency power control. Electrically operated upper controls function. From the lower control station, move the control selector toggle switch to upper control. To operate upper controls from the platform, the green master switch button must be pushed in while moving the toggle switch in the desired direction. On electrically operated upper controls, the engine start-stop button can be used for emergency stop. Let's talk safety. Contact with or inadequate clearance from electrical power lines and apparatus can cause death or serious injury. The operator must maintain safe clearances from electrical power lines in accordance with applicable government regulations and allow clearance for boom, platform, and electrical line sway and deflection. The TEL-29 N series is not an insulated boom and does not provide protection from contact with or proximity to an electrically charged power line. Due to the nature of the work, aerial lifts often place the operator and ground crew in the vicinity of electrical lines and equipment where grave danger exists. These dangers can only be avoided by the constant care of the operator and ground crew who are aware of these dangers, know the limitations of the aerial lift and its capabilities, and know how to protect yourself from these dangers. Here are some additional safety notes to remember. The operator must wear an OSHA-mandated personnel restraint device when operating from the platform. The lanyard must be attached from the manufacturer's approved anchor point at the boom tip to the personnel restraint device. Never operate an aerial device without wearing an approved personnel restraint system and lanyard attached to the specified anchor. Watch the boom to make sure it clears the truck and all other obstructions. Never allow anyone on the ground to touch the unit when the lift is being used to work on or near electrical lines. The Versalift must never be operated in the proximity of a lightning storm. Never attempt to clean, oil, or adjust the Versalift while in motion. Versalift recommends that a lift not be used in winds exceeding 30 miles per hour. Always stow the boom completely before moving the truck. Never drive the truck with the boom improperly stowed. Whenever tools or equipment are included with the operator, the combined weight must not exceed the rated platform capacity. You must always refer to the capacity charts and decals located on the lift and in the manuals. Avoid dropping tools from the platform. Use a hand line to raise or lower tools to the platform. Stand only on the platform floor. Never climb out of a raised platform onto a pole or limb. Report any unusual occurrence during the operation of the aerial lift that may require repair or adjustment. Keep the workspace in the truck bed clean and neat. Only qualified mechanics are authorized to service the Versalift. Hydraulic fluid is flammable. Avoid any contact between the hydraulic fluid and any source of high heat or open flame. Contact with hot hydraulic fluid or fluid under pressure can cause burns or severe injury, which require immediate specialized medical attention. Storing the aerial lift. When storing the lift for road travel, retract the inner boom completely. Rotate the boom until it is centered over the boom rest. Now lower the boom onto the boom rest pad. The boom lower control should be released as soon as there is firm contact with the boom rest pad. The platform will also come in contact with the platform support, if equipped. Always watch for personnel and obstructions when storing the aerial lift. A crushing injury to personnel or damage to equipment can occur. To complete the storing procedure, secure the boom assembly properly in the rest and remove the wheel chocks. Turn off the master control with the switch located on the dashboard of the truck. Never drive the truck without the aerial lift properly stowed. If your Versalift is equipped with a boom unstowed light, it will illuminate if the boom is out of rest and the vehicle is started. Emergency operation procedures. Emergency operation may be required if an operator is injured or the hydraulic system malfunctions, so operators should become proficient with the controls and features designed for emergency situations. In an emergency, the first priority is the safety of the personnel involved. Before attempts are made to rescue personnel, make sure the unit has not become electrically energized. Identifying the problem and initiating the proper emergency procedures promptly will help minimize or possibly prevent injuries. It is important to follow standard work practices and safety regulations. In case of generator or pump failure, the emergency power should be used as outlined earlier, if so equipped. If a situation requires, the upper controls may be overridden through the use of the selector located at the ground control station. Move the selector in the lower position for operation of the lift. This renders the upper controls inoperable, and the lift can now be lowered by use of the lower controls. Holding valves. If all hydraulic power sources become inoperable, there are ways to manually bleed the platform to the ground. However, these are last resort methods, and extreme care should be taken. Manual adjustment of the set screw on the holding valves can only be used in retracting or lowering the booms. If the hydraulic system fails with an operator aloft, you can bleed through the holding valve to lower the boom and return the operator to the ground. Qualified personnel at the site are responsible for selecting a safe path of descent. When this is done, readjustment of the holding valves is required before further use. Time Manufacturing recommends that you replace with new holding valves. Make certain all body parts are clear of the boom path before attempting to lower the boom using the set screw on the holding valve. Failing to do so may cause death or serious injury. Manual rotation. If there are any obstructions stopping you from bleeding the booms down, the turret rotation system can be manually actuated. Rotate the lift by placing a 7/8" hex socket and ratchet on the output shaft on the gearbox. Now turn until the boom is centered over the boom rest. The engine start-stop control can be used for emergency operation in the event the prime power source stalls or dies. To restore lift operation, use the engine start-stop control to crank the engine while attempting to stow the booms as the engine turns over. Crank the engine intermittently at 30-second intervals to conserve the battery. Use the emergency power motor if installed. Responsibilities after emergency operation. After an emergency situation, it is the responsibility of the operator to make sure the aerial lift is repaired and adjusted by a qualified mechanic before it is used again. If an equipment defect is suspected, do not allow anyone to operate the aerial lift or enter the platform until the problem is corrected. The aerial lift must then be operated from the lower controls through its full range of motion several times, the hydraulic fluid level checked and refilled if necessary. Maintenance and inspection schedules. The maintenance and inspection of certain items are the responsibility of a competent operator. Being alert for evidence of a problem is essential in maintaining safe and satisfactory service. Items that warrant attention are identified in the operator and service manuals. Included are visual inspection guidelines, lubrication instructions, hydraulic fluid maintenance, filter maintenance, and adjustments. The operator should become familiar with the maintenance and inspection schedules and requirements and make sure they are followed. Proper maintenance and inspections will help prevent failures and ensure a long, useful life of the equipment. Remember, no video or manual can cover every situation that may occur or prevent every accident. When it comes to safety, there are several factors involved. It's the manufacturer's job to design and build the Versalift aerial work platform to the highest possible safety standards. It's the owner-employer's job to ensure the Versalift is properly serviced and maintained, with operators properly trained. And it's the operator's job to use the Versalift responsibly, as required by the applicable ANSI and OSHA standards. If any one of these three safety components is not properly performed, an accident, injury, or worse can occur. It is therefore essential that all three groups, the manufacturer, the owner-employer, and the operators, all contribute their part to the safety of the Versalift. If you have any questions concerning the Versalift TEL-29 N series machine, please contact your local distributor or even the manufacturer. And thanks for watching.